Hey, what's going on everyone? This is iReviews back with another video, and today we're talking about how to properly charge an iPhone. So over the past few years, I've done a few videos on battery tips and tricks and a few videos on how to charge an iPhone. Well, during this time and during my experience and my research, I've come up with 12 tips and tricks that I believe are the only ones that you need and the only ones that actually work that will help you properly charge an iPhone. That means that you can charge your iPhone as fast as possible while also preserving battery health on your iPhone. Now, before we get into all that, I just want to ask you guys for a really quick favor. Most of you guys that watch my videos are currently not subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the videos, you want to see more, please make sure you subscribe. It really will help the channel a lot. Now, before we get started, I also have to mention that I have actually separated this video into two different sections. First of all, I will show you guys 6 tips and tricks that will help you charge your iPhone the fastest way possible, and in the second section we will have a few tips and tricks that will help you preserve the battery health of your iPhone. That way we get the best time of charging and of course the best battery health on our iPhones. Now, first of all, to make your iPhone charge really fast, you will need a fast charger. But that's not the only way. There are also other things you can do, but of course this will make a huge impact. This is what you need: a USB-C to Lightning cable. And of course you cannot use the 5-watt charger on the iPhone. You will need an 18-watt or up charger to actually enable fast charging on your iPhone. And no, it won't damage the battery of your iPhone, it won't do anything. It might heat up the battery a bit, but that won't be a problem because of course this is by Apple. It's confirmed it works and it doesn't do any damage to your iPhone. It will just charge your iPhone at around 50% in about 30 minutes. In my experience, it actually does charge even more, and that's really great. So the first tip: USB-C to Lightning and an 18-watt adapter for your Lightning cable, and you're good to go. The next tip that actually works is using low power mode while charging your iPhone. Now, with low power mode, your iPhone will cut off a lot of things, and of course all the background activity and all the stuff that actually requires extra battery life will just stop. That way your iPhone is just using less battery. In the meantime, it's charging. That way it will actually charge way faster, especially if you use your iPhone while charging. Now, of course, enabling and disabling low power mode anytime you want to charge your iPhone might be a bit annoying. Well, you can do that actually automatically, and here's how it's done. You head on to the Shortcuts app and you go to Automations, tap on Create Personal Automation, and right here you will have Charger. So you choose Charger Connected, tap on the next button, Add Action, and search for Low Power Mode. Right here we have Set Low Power Mode. It's on, tap on Next. Make sure you have this disabled, tap on Don't Ask, disable this as well, and you're good to go. Go back here, tap the plus button, again, go to Charger, then go to Disconnected, disable this, enable that one, tap the next button, Add Action, search for Low Power Mode. Again, here we have Low Power Mode. All you have to do now is change from on to off. That way, once you disconnect your device, Low Power Mode turns off automatically. Of course, disable this and you're good to go. You have set up your iPhone to turn on low power mode while it's charging, and of course disable low power mode when it's not charging. The third tip when it comes to charging your iPhone as fast as possible is actually to avoid charging your iPhone with a wireless charger. It might be cool and all that, but wireless charging will just charge your iPhone way slower. It might also heat up your iPhone. That way it will actually have a bad impact on battery health. So avoid wireless chargers if you want to charge your iPhone faster. The fastest way is always using a charger and of course a cable. Plug it into a wall, and that's the best way to charge your iPhone. Another thing you need to avoid when it comes to charging your iPhone and you're trying to charge it faster is using computers or laptops to charge your iPhone, especially if the computer or the laptop is on sleep mode or standby, whatever that is. That might even decrease the battery percentage of your iPhone. Of course, when they are turned on, you can use them to charge your iPhone. It will charge the iPhone. I do that all the time, but just keep in mind that that's not the best way because it will charge your iPhone way slower. In order to charge again your iPhone fastest way possible, always use a charger and a wall plug. Another thing that's really confusing for a lot of iPhone users is whether they can use their iPhone or not while charging. Well, in my experience and the research that I did, of course you can. There won't be a problem with using your iPhone while charging. But one thing to keep in mind, when it's charging and at the same time it's being used, that charge will be way slower because you're charging the iPhone and at the same time you're just consuming battery. And one thing I suggest you do is not to game or use heavy apps when you're charging your iPhone, because that of course will decrease the battery charging time, and also it will have a huge impact on the battery's health because it will heat up the battery a lot. Now what I suggest you do is don't play games while charging your iPhone, or take a look at the battery section here under the settings app, and here you can see which apps actually use most battery. So there are some apps of course that you use a lot and they will be at the top of the list, but if you see apps that you don't use for a long time but they just consume a lot of battery, that means that those apps will require a lot of battery power all the time, and using those apps while charging your iPhone will of course decrease the speed of the iPhone's charging and of course heat up the battery a lot. So you should avoid that, but for just simple tasks you can use your iPhone while charging without a problem. Before we move into battery health, we're talking about another thing here, and that's charging the iPhone to 100%. Even though it is not suggested that you charge your iPhone to 100%, sometimes maybe you will be out for a long time and you don't want to have your battery at 80%. You want to have 100% of battery, and you need that. Of course, that's not a problem if you do it every once in a while, but don't just practice charging your iPhone to 100% all the time. But if you want to do it, there is a way to do it by going to battery and go to battery health and charging and turn off optimized battery charging. I suggest you always do it until tomorrow by tapping the first button right there, and then the next day it will turn on back automatically, because that's a really important setting to have on, and I always suggest all the users to have that on. This way, by turning that off, it will allow your iPhone to charge at 100%. Now, I've seen actually a lot of iPhone users complain about their iPhone not charging above 80%. That's why it's not doing it. Turn that off and your iPhone will charge to 100%. And now let's move on and talk about iPhone charging tips that will help you charge your iPhone and of course preserve battery health. Now the first thing will be to not charge your iPhone at 100%. We just talked about that, and that's the first tip that I would give you guys. Try to charge your iPhone between 20 and 80%. That's probably the best, just the best area where you can charge your iPhone. Don't leave it just to drop down under 20%, and don't charge it above 80% if you don't really need that. Now the best way to ensure that you make that happen is of course by turning on right here optimized battery charging settings, battery health, optimized battery charging on, and this way you will make sure that your iPhone won't charge above 80%, because that's the way it works the best, and of course that's the way Apple suggests you do it, and that will preserve the battery health of your iPhone for a really long time. Next up is charging your iPhone overnight. This is also a question that a lot of iPhone users ask. There won't actually be a problem with charging your iPhone overnight. Always just keep in mind the general tips. Always use chargers and of course cables that are authentic, Apple cables, Apple chargers, and of course from third-party apps that are certified, and there is no problem with charging your iPhone overnight. The only thing I suggest you do is always make sure that you have optimized battery charging turned on. Even though you charge your iPhone overnight, it might be plugged in for 6 or 7 or 8 hours. It won't actually charge at 100% until around morning. That's the time when it will charge it over 80%, and that's the best way to go. So there's no problem with the iPhone's battery when it comes to charging overnight. Now, one of the worst things that you can do to your iPhone's battery is leaving your battery without charge. So when you go right here in the settings and you go to battery, you see this chart right here. If it's all the time going to red here, that's not good. Leaving your iPhone discharged or just completely turned off without battery is not good for the battery health of your iPhone. Or even if you just put your iPhone away for a few hours and you leave it turned off without any charge at all, that's risky for the battery's health. So make sure you always keep your iPhone's battery at basically a level like this. So right here you can see at about 20 to 30%, at 80%, in those levels the battery will be on its optimum charge, and that of course is when it will perform the best and the battery health will last really long. And for the last 3 tips, things we need to avoid. One thing you need to avoid is always of course fake chargers. Don't use fake chargers, cheap chargers and cables that you might get for $1 or $2. Those will destroy the battery of your iPhone, and they might be even risky. There are a lot of cases when the iPhone's battery might be damaged, maybe even explode or something like that. So always make sure you just use a genuine charger and cable for your iPhone. Another thing you need to avoid is extreme temperatures. High or low, those will be bad for the battery health of your iPhone. So if your iPhone's battery is staying hot all the time, just try to figure out what you're doing wrong there. Maybe you're using a fake charger, or maybe you're using a really bulky case that is causing your battery to heat up. That way it will just damage the battery of your iPhone and the battery health will drop really fast. So make sure to avoid that. And the last but not least, when storing your iPhone, make sure that you don't store it without having any charge. If you're trying to store an iPhone for a longer time, make sure that before you turn it off, it has at least at around 50 to 60% charge before you turn it off and put it away. So that's basically it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and subscribe for more. Don't forget to leave a like on this one if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video.